Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Mayor Lisa Brown. We're here to talk today about community safety for the whole city, but specifically traffic and pedestrian safety. Unfortunately, traffic fatalities have increased nationwide since 2020, including here in Spokane. In 2019, there were 10 fatalities and 63 serious injury crashes. In 2024, we had 20 fatalities and 102 serious injury crashes. We have already had 6 fatalities this year, including 2 people who were walking. We don't want to meet or exceed last year's record. That's unacceptable. Back in July, I signed an executive order implementing safe streets infrastructure, establishing pedestrian and bike safety as a top priority for city transportation investments. And today you'll hear about much of the work that has been done or is underway. This has been a great partnership because it is a top priority of the City Council as well. And several teams in the city have been working on it. So we will be announcing several new initiatives that we have been working together on aimed at taking even more decisive action to protect everyone who uses our streets, including walkers, bicyclists, drivers, people who are in wheelchairs, the kids on their way from a child care that just walked across this street. First, I will pass this to Council President Betsy Wilkerson.
Yeah, give it up. You can give me an applause. It's okay. Good morning, everyone, and I am so glad to be here to speak about the new initiatives that you'll hear more about. I just want to say Spokane is in full motion today of how we are addressing traffic safety for all forms of communication. You're walking, you're driving, you're on a bicycle, you're ADA, you're in a wheelchair. We want to meet the needs of all of our citizens. And I just want to say to our citizens, we heard you. Neighborhood councils, we heard you. You were telling us about safety and how you did not feel safe on the streets of Spokane. So we have these new initiatives that we are putting forward to help mitigate some of the issues that we consistently hear about in our city. I also want to give a shout out to the administration because they really did tackle this problem, and a shout out to my fellow council members. It really was a joint effort. Spokane, if you are wondering if your administration and councils working together, evidence of that is here today. So thank you for all coming out. You'll hear more from our chief and others. But again, Spokane, we see you, we hear you, we want to keep you safe. And again, Spokane is in full motion and we are on the move. Thanks for coming out.
Okay, Councilmember Sapone.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone for being here. I can't thank the mayor and her administration enough. Since I've been on council, this is my 4th year on council, we as council members have talked about our priorities on traffic safety and our safer streets. And it really took a new mayor and a new administration and her staff to really get the wheels turning on this and propose these initiatives and implement them. Council has talked and expressed about this and passed resolutions, and now we're finally seeing the implementation of this, and this is going to make lives better for everyone in Spokane and on our streets. Traffic safety is not just about signs and signals, it's about protecting lives and building stronger neighborhoods. Across Spokane, we've heard these calls from Safer Streets. We hear it at Open Forum, we hear it at our neighborhood councils, we hear it by the students in my classroom who've had problems getting to school safely. It's especially a problem for our kids, our seniors, and anyone walking or biking and driving. So I'm excited to talk about 2 specific initiatives. One is the No Turn on Red ordinance or initiative, and the second is the Neighborhood Block Party and Safe Streets ordinance. So to talk about the No Turn on Red ordinance, we're rolling out a simple change that will make a big impact, and that is no turns on red. We're on Main right now, and just a few blocks away from us is where tragically Janet Mann was killed by a turn on red. And so this initiative is prioritizing Main Avenue and high pedestrian areas downtown and preventing turning on red. The policy of turning and allowing on red started in the 1970s, actually, when there was a shortage of gas, and the fuel industry was trying to make sure that we weren't preventing idling, and that's made it unsafe for our pedestrians and people in our cities, so we're making that change. So I'm excited to show what that will look like. I think, are we doing that now? Yeah. If Mr. Snyder can go down there, we have a little demonstration of what the no turn on red will look like in Spokane. And 3, 2, 1. So it's this simple change that you'll see these signs in Spokane and downtown that will say no turn on red. And we're just reminding folks to please not turn on red. Wait for that signal to change. That'll make it easier for pedestrians to cross, people with strollers, people in wheelchairs, and our most vulnerable road users. And it gives everyone just that little time and space to make those crossings. The second initiative that I'm excited to talk about are neighborhood block parties and play streets. I'm excited that we're standing right now in the middle of a street because that's what this is about. It's about closing down our streets and making them more active for people in neighborhoods in those non-arterial streets. So whether it's neighbors wanting to come together and close their street to allow kids to play on the street, do a spontaneous chark art festival, close down the street and have a barbecue, or do a little hop between your houses and enjoy some food and drinks. This is an opportunity for people in your neighborhoods to come out, meet your neighbors, have that connection, and really enjoy your neighborhood and bring back that life to our neighborhoods. So these initiatives are exciting to be safer and make our neighborhoods stronger. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Hall next.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. As police chief, I just want to emphasize a simple but vital truth, and that is that traffic safety is public safety. I want to thank Mayor Brown, Council President Wilkerson, and the rest of City Council for their leadership in advancing these comprehensive traffic strategies. Very briefly, SPD has, over the past, sort of decentralized and gradually sort of devolved their traffic safety unit. I'll announce here today that we are reinstituting a traffic safety and education unit. You will see You will see motor officers out there. Their full-time job is to be out there and enforce traffic law and provide education for our motorists who are out on the streets. The second part of that is a continued emphasis on DUI enforcement and education. A part of this traffic safety unit will be our DUI officers. They will also be doing public engagement out at the bars at night to help educate potential drivers that they are in fact not okay to drive. And then I just wanted to emphasize that we are going to expand our use of automated traffic safety cameras, both red light and speeding, as the infrastructure is built through courts and other city departments to allow us to do so. And lastly, SPD will participate in a new traffic fatality review team that I'm sure you'll hear more about from John Snyder, but we hope to take a holistic look at all of our traffic fatalities and see how we can prevent that in the future, both from an engineering and a safety standpoint. Thank you.
Downtown is a neighborhood. Now we have Pia Hallenberg from the Neighborhood Council.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to see everybody. I just want to say a resounding finally. As a neighborhood council downtown, we have struggled to get some attention to the traffic circumstances here, especially for those of us who walk or bike, and many of us walk. It gets a little spicy in some of the intersections, and it's not something that happens once a week, it happens all the time. So I am very grateful. I know the neighborhood councils are very grateful to the administration, the police department. It's lovely to see people work together, and I'm so looking forward to these changes. It's going to be great.
Okay, so just to summarize, we've got the Police Traffic Safety and Education Unit. We're updating the Complete Streets Ordinance. I believe that Councilmember Klitsky and John Snyder were engaged in that from the very beginning. We've got the block parties, and as Chief Hall mentioned, We are piloting a traffic fatality review team. This will be a multidisciplinary group. It will evaluate environmental, vehicle and behavioral factors that contributed to fatal crashes in the city, and we'll use the crash data from departments across the city to come up with identifiable factors we could implement to prevent and eliminate serious and fatal injury crashes. And we're engaging this as a 12-month pilot. And all of these efforts collectively are aimed at protecting lives of all who utilize the streets of Spokane. So with that, we're happy to answer a few questions.
Hi, I'm next one. Just about your new traffic unit, I have a few questions. First of all, are those positions filled, and will that start right away today?
The positions will be filled on the 28th, and it'll start shortly thereafter, the week after.
And as for positioning in the city, is it focusing on a specific area, or do you have specific routes that they're going to be taking to patrol?
Yes, there will be a constant evaluation of all of the data involving injury and fatal collisions. That data will be analyzed, cleaned, and then we'll utilize that to deploy the officers so that they're following where the most harmful driving behavior occurs, and they're applying the resources where it makes sense.
And then for the new turn on reds here on Main, are those going to be enforced by SPD, or is this just a suggestion?
They will be enforced.
Still for Chief Hall. Sorry. Could you speak to the number of employees in the Safety and Education Unit? How many officers?
At this time, there will be 4 officers. We're trying to figure out how to put a supervisor over that. Right now, there's an admin supervisor, so I am a little nervous about having 4 officers out there without a supervisor that's on a motorcycle with them. We're working through that. That'll be soon to come. There will also be 2 DUI officers and a supervisor. And as I said, we'll look to expand that in the months coming ahead. We'll also have our accident reconstructionists as a part of that unit. So it'll be a centralized unit, whereas right now some of those components don't exist at all. We're going to bring them all together for a focused, targeted look at traffic safety and education.
And I'm not necessarily sure who needs to speak to this, but does the no turn on red, do we need an ordinance for that? Has there already been a law put in place?
I'll bring John Snyder up to talk a little bit about putting this package together.
So the no turn on red does not require an ordinance, but we are working with the City Council because we think it's crucial that both branches of government collaborate on this effort and that the public has a chance to weigh in and speak on their concerns. So we'll be going through the City Council, or is proposed to go through the City Council as a resolution.
I have a question for Mayor Brown. Last year you talked about increased bike infrastructure, including bike lockers. I was curious what the progress is on that front.
Bike lockers are also on the way. Somebody want to give the details on that again? John, do you have the, or Marlene, do you have the detail? Marlene has the details on the coming bike lockers.
So we do have bike lockers outside City Hall already today, and that was the first installation. And our bicycle planners are looking at where there could be additional opportunities for those.
Quick follow-up, are those bike lockers outside of City Hall usable by the public?
Right now, those have been reserved by city employees, but with the new lockers that are going to be rolled out, they will be utilized by the public.
Another question for Chief Hall, sorry to make you keep coming up there. This traffic safety unit, are all of those officers going to be on motorcycles? And then what kind of driving behaviors are they really going to be looking out for? I think just driving around Spokane off the top of my head, speeding and aggressive driving are some of the worst that I see out there.
Right. 4 officers will be dedicated solely to the motor unit, so they will be, weather permitting, they will be out there on motors. Weather not permitting, they'll be out there in cars. But like I said, they're not patrol officers who are also going to calls for service. Their entire responsibility is traffic safety and education. And you're absolutely correct. The thing that's most common in most collisions occurring in the city is speeding. speeding is the most common behavior, but also distracted driving, and quite frankly, not paying attention to our traffic control devices, the red lights and stop signs.
Chief Hall, one more. Getting your steps in today. Obviously, speeding is a common occurrence. Can you speak specifically to racing?
Yes, racing is something that we see primarily at night. While I'm certainly not making this suggestion that street takeovers are a problem here, it is something that is a problem throughout the country, and we're paying very close attention to other jurisdictions who are addressing both intersection takeovers and street takeovers. But racing is an issue that we started to see a lot of last year with motorcycles, and that is particularly dangerous, and we're using a couple of different innovative strategies to address that. As we see success with that, as we did last year, we will begin to apply that to vehicles as well.
Do we know how many new traffic cameras are going up and what intersections those are going to be located at yet?
So you're probably already aware that there'll be 2 going up at Mission and Green. There are also multiple intersections and school zones that are being considered for expansion. So the council had a suggested list from 2023 that we're going over. Police has a list that they're working with our vendor on as well. We have a new state law that requires us to look at equity considerations when we're locating those cameras. So now we're taking all those lists and some other things and putting them all together and doing an equity analysis, and we should be ready to push forward with new locations very soon.
That's it.
All right, thanks all.
Thank you very much.